You ever have one of those days? You're busy from morning till night, your calendar's packed, your inbox is a disaster, and at the end of it all, you feel like you didn't actually accomplish anything important? Well, today, we're diving into a powerful way to change that for good. We're going to explore how you can master your focus and achieve some pretty incredible things, even in a world that seems built to distract us. And our guide for this journey is Cal Newport's absolutely game-changing book, Deep Work. He gives us the whole playbook, a clear set of rules for developing what he calls a modern-day superpower. Okay, so let's just start with a really provocative question, one that kind of cuts through all the noise. We live in this culture where being busy is like a badge of honor, right? A full calendar, a constant stream of notifications. But what if that constant hum of activity is the very thing holding you back from doing your best, most valuable work? To really get to the solution, we have to define the problem first. And the problem is that most of us are living and working in a world that pretty much defaults to what Newport calls shallow work. So what's the difference? Well, deep work, that's the stuff where breakthroughs happen. It's writing that brilliant piece of code, hammering out a crucial business strategy, or really mastering a tough skill. Shallow work, on the other hand, is all the logistical stuff. Answering emails, jumping on status calls, posting on social media. One creates real new value. The other one, it just kind of keeps the lights on. And here's the real problem. Our whole work culture is constantly pulling us toward the shallow end of the pool. There's this immense pressure to be online, to be available, to answer every single message instantly. And it creates this world where just being visibly busy gets mistaken for actually being productive. And this isn't just a feeling, It has a very real cost. Get this. The tech officer at Atlantic Media actually ran the numbers and figured out the company was spending over $1 million a year just to pay its employees to process email. $1 million? For an activity that produces almost no real value? That, right there, is the price of shallow work. But it's not just about wasted time or money. It's actually a much, much bigger deal than that. This whole shift towards shallow work is happening at the absolute worst possible moment because our economy is going through a fundamental change, making that ability to go deep more critical than ever before. A couple of MIT economists, they call it the Great Restructuring. As technology and AI get smarter and smarter, they can handle more and more of those shallow logistical tasks. And what that's doing is basically splitting the labor market into two groups: people who can be replaced by technology and people who can do complex work with technology. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means that to really thrive in this new economy, you need two core skills. You have to be able to learn complicated things fast, and you have to be able to apply that knowledge to produce really high-quality work also fast. And both of those abilities, well, they depend on one thing. And that one thing is, you guessed it, deep work. So this is where we shift from talking about the problem to talking about the solution. Developing your ability for intense, focused work isn't just a nice-to-have skill. It's the superpower that lets you master hard things and produce world-class results. The famous psychiatrist Carl Jung, he totally got this. He knew he needed a space for profound, uninterrupted thought. So what did he do? He literally built a stone tower, a personal retreat where he could lock himself away and just think. That's where his career-defining ideas came from. Or think about J.K. Rowling. Can you imagine the pressure of finishing the final Harry Potter book with the entire world waiting? She just couldn't find the focus she needed at home, so she made a grand gesture. She checked into a luxury hotel suite, creating an environment totally dedicated to finishing her masterpiece. And then there's Woody Allen. This is just wild. For over 4 decades, he produced a staggering 44 films in 44 years, a film a year. And he did it all completely unplugged. He wrote on a manual typewriter, a simple tool that guaranteed he would never, ever be interrupted by an email notification. So these stories are amazing, right? But how do we actually start building this habit when our world is practically designed to fight against it? Well, Cal Newport gives us 4 very practical disciplines to get us started. First up, make grand gestures. That mean radically changing your environment to signal to your brain that it's time to focus. Second, and this is a tough one, embrace boredom. You have to train your attention by resisting that constant urge for a quick distraction. Third, schedule everything. Be intentional with every minute of your day. And fourth, quit mindlessly. That means ruthlessly getting rid of shallow activities that just fragment your attention. And these aren't just tips. Think of it like a training regimen for your focus. Jerry Seinfeld's method for becoming a better comedian is just a perfect example of this in action. He decided he had to write jokes every single day, so he got a huge wall calendar, and for every day he wrote, he drew a big red X. And pretty soon, he had a chain. After that, his only job was simple: don't break the chain. It's a simple ritual, but it created this powerful structure that forced him to show up every day, even on the boring days. And that discipline of scheduling, it can extend to your whole day. It's all about you being the boss of your time, not your inbox. Block out your day, giving specific chunks of time to specific tasks. You know, when Theodore Roosevelt was at Harvard, he had very few hours to study, but he used those blocks with such blistering intensity that he excelled. Now, the goal isn't to be a robot and stick to it perfectly. It's to always have a thoughtful plan for your time. And a huge part of that plan is deciding what you're not going to do, which helps prevent that mindless drift to social media that just kills your concentration. But when you really get down to it, deep work isn't just another productivity hack. It's actually a path to a more meaningful, a more satisfying professional life. It connects the work you're doing to a much deeper sense of purpose. There are these two philosophers, Dreyfus and Kelly, and they argue that craftsmanship is a huge source of meaning in life. A master craftsman doesn't just invent meaning out of thin air, they discover it in the material they're working with through the focused application of their skill and their attention. And this isn't just for people who work with their hands. This applies to knowledge work, too. The best computer programmers, they talk about their work in the exact same way. They see themselves as craftsmen, building these elegant, beautiful structures. They actually talk about envisioning cathedrals in their code. They find meaning by applying deep, focused skill to their work. So that leaves us with this one final thought. The pull towards shallowness, towards distraction, it's powerful and it's everywhere. But resisting it, well, that offers a massive opportunity, not just to be more productive, but to build a life of focus, skill, and deep meaning. So the real question is, what cathedrals are waiting for you to build?